What's going on, you bunch of heretics? Grab your paint pots, grab your recalf, and let's get some paint on that ever-growing pile of potential. It's here. The Heresy is my therapy. Slapchop tutorials. Today, we're going to be painting a hero, a proper Ultramarine Maverick Renegade hero. As the title suggests, this is how to slapchop your Ultramarines like a pro. Bit of a version, a 2.0 if you will, of Slapchop and how to improve your Ultramarines. I know we did a video a while ago, but it's a bit of a better way of slapchopping your Ultramarines, and what better way to do it than that Maverick Renegade that is Captain Uriel Ventris. As always, everything you need will be in the description below. Hopefully you find this video useful. If not, I apologise. If so, great stuff. Anyway, rambling on. So without further ado, let's get to it. Right, here he is, Uriel Ventris, Captain of the 4th Company. Yeah, what a great looking model. I've been dying to get my hands on painting this for quite some time, so yes, we are getting the Captain of the 4th Company of the Ultramarines. As always, our 3 tiers, Ultramarine Grey, Ultramarine Grey, Ultramarine Grey, and White Scar. We've got paper, we've got our pot, we've got everything we need. Dry brushes, wet palette, good to go. You know the routine, guys. Administratum Grey, here it is. Shake it up. We're gonna get our dry brush. We're gonna get some on the brush, guys. You know the routine. Get some on the brush. We're going to take it all off. Get it all off. Get it all off. All off. All off. All off. And then small circles all over the model. Okay, small circles all over the model. As you can see there, building up the layers bit by bit. Okay, building up the layers bit by bit. Just keep building it up, keep building it up, keep building it up. Okay, you haven't got to be, you haven't got to be nice with this. Just get it all over the model. Yep, and there it is, slowly getting built up even more and more and more. Small circles everywhere. Alright, first layer applied, as you can see there. I've given it a good few layers of this, but we're slowly building it up. Okay, getting absolutely everywhere, all over the model. Yeah, all over the model, under the crevices, absolutely everywhere with that Administratum Grey. Next, we're going to get our Ultramarine Grey. We're going to get our dry brush again. Again, as always with these guys, with that 3-tier basing system that we have for our Slapchop, we get a little bit on the brush, take it all off, and then of course all over the model. Again with this one, remember this time we're not going underneath anything, so not underneath where the light isn't catching, we're going where the light would be. Alright, so again small circles, and again we're going all over the model, but we're going where the light would be, so we're not keeping, so it's literally where the light would shine. We're going to go down there and use those small circles to kind of just create that nice lighter effect. We're not trying to get deep into the shadows or anything here, we're literally getting where the light would be shining on our model. As always, we're still doing small circles all over the model here. We're also now, we're going to just kind of flick back to the times of our power swords. So we're just kind of get a flat edge dry brush, and we're just going to create those top edges with the Ultramarine Grey, just to create that effect. Right, with that all applied there, as you can see, he's looking pretty good to go, nice and bright. So what we're going to do now, we're going to quickly grab our dry brush, an oil one, and just going to get off all that excess paint that we've had there before. Just get rid of all that excess paint that the dry brush creates for that previous part. Then once we've done that, we're then going to grab our white scar, grab our small dry brush again, same detail, take it all off the brush, all off, get it all off there, and again small circles all over the model. Where that light would just shine and catch, that's where we're going to now get our white scar all over those areas. And then same again, we're just going to get our flathead dry brush, and we're just going to go over those lighter points with the dry brush on the sword to create a nice highlighted effect, ready for a few layers of whatever colour you want to do your power sword. Right, yep, as always, straight back into a quick dry brush with getting all that dust off, so we can really paint our model, getting him prepped up, looking nice. The 3-tier system, nicely applied, and of course take that old dry brush and just get all that old paint off there, just so it's just really good to go. Nice clean surface, ready to apply our contrast paints. There he is, good to go. Hopefully that is your model, good to go like that. You know, nice and bright, ready to go. Right then, first of all, we're going to get our Pilar Glacier. Again, it's a very thin, very light contrast paint, okay, Pilar Glacier, so there's no need to get Lamian medium on there. Basically going, as with these sort of light ones, pot, palette, straight onto the model, okay, and we're going to get, this is where we're going to put all of his blue armor, so all of that ultramarine blue, this is what we're going to use to get that initial base coloring. So there'll be a nice light blue hint underneath the model, and as you can see, it's really thin, you can almost notice it, so you are going to have to do a good 2 layers at least to get that nice initial light blue on the armor of the model. And as you can see there, I've done, you know, there's probably about 2 layers at least on that. Next, you will need your Lamian medium and of course your Talazar blue. The Talazar blue is so nice to work with, I think, for Ultramarines. The Ultramarine blue, I think, is just a little too dark. I like that kind of old school lighter blue effect. So yeah, anyway, Talazar blue on our palette, grab on Lamian medium, and we're just going to be a bit of a 2-to-1 mix of this. And again, we're going to build the layers of this up. So we're going to go nice, and we're going to, you know, thin that paint down, you know, 2-to-1 on our palette, and we're just going to apply this over the areas we've already applied that lighter blue, that Pulsar Glacier. Okay, so again, we're just going to build this up bit by bit, and again, it's probably going to take about 2 layers of this. You know, 2 thin coats. Duncan wrote it, guys. Duncan wrote it. 2 thin coats. Yep. As you can see, building it all up, 2 thin coats all over the areas that we want to be blue. Just be patient with it. Again, don't let areas pool. You know, take your time. Make sure it's, you know, it's evenly spread over the model. And like you say, don't just go from the pot to the palette. Make sure you thin it down with that Lamian, that 2-to-1 mix, and it will give you a really nice looking effect. And like I say, two thin coats will more than do for this here. Yep, and there it is. As you can see, it's now kind of getting a bit more that deeper blue look that we want, but not too dark. So yes, lovely. Okay, we're going to get our Mantis green because we're going to get the cloak now, and obviously the shoulder pad. Remember, this is the 4th company, so Uriel Ventris has got his pauldrons and that have got the edges in green, so Mantis green, and of course we're going to get our Lamian medium 2-to-1 again, as always with this, and we're just going to get on those pauldron edges and the cape. Okay, like I say, 2-to-1 on this. Make sure your brush has got plenty on, or not plenty on it, but is take as much of it off as possible, and then like I say, you just 2 thin coats. Same again as we did before with the blue, we're doing the same again with this. A nice lighter green, and we're going to go in with a dark green afterwards. So yes, the edges of the pauldrons in that green to denote 4th company, and then of course we're going to go across for his cloak, that classic Uriel Ventris green cloak that he sports as the captain of the 4th. But yes, this initial, like I say, initial layer of green going on there, and again 2 thin coats just all over that model. Once that's applied, we're going to grab our warp lightning, again warp lightning, and this is just going to go over the top of all of those areas we've just applied that mantis green to. Put it into the old mix, and then of course we're going to make sure that we can use our Lamium medium, and we're just going to thin that down at 2:1, same again. And just as before, we're going over the pauldrons and over the cape. Nice and easy, nothing wild. Paint by numbers, guys. Super easy to do. Yep, and again, like I say, we're just going over the cape. Allow it to sit in the recesses nicely. Don't let it pull up, and you'll just see it just darken ever so nicely to get that kind of darker green that we want. But again, that mantis green underneath kind of helps it create that nice green hue that we want. And there it is, like I say, guys, just 2 thin coats moving across, moving over the model. All right, and as you can see there, it's really kind of darkened it into it and quite nicely. Right then, while that's drying off, all we're going to do now is just, like I say, it's just drying off a little bit there with those greens applied. All we're going to do now is just going to apply a little bit of the Terragon Turquoise thin down just into the power sword to give it the initial kind of effect that we want. Again, thin this down, 2:1, 1:1 almost, with our Lamium medium. Nice and easy. Nothing crazy, and also going to be a very thin, almost glaze-like layer over the power sword to kind of get that initial non-metallic metals, sort of silvery look for the power sword. Power swords look great, don't they? So yeah, nice and easy, nice thin layer over that. Next up, we are going to get our Flesh Tearers red. So you'll notice that on the front he's got these like leather, like gladiatorial, famous from the Ultramarines, like gladiatorial sort of, what would you even call that? Like dressage? His accoutrement, is it, if you will. And like I say, all we're going to do here to get that initial sort of like reddish brown is just put that Flesh Tearers red into those the drapes at the front, his ornament, his accoutrement on his armory work, famous of the Ultramarines, that Romanesque looking element. So basically, yeah, Flesh Tearers red in there, and that'll become more apparent in a little bit. That applied, and obviously the cape now dry, we're just going to get some Dark Angels green, and all we're simply going to do, pop it into the old mix, thin it down with our contrast medium, our Lamium medium, sorry. Yep, just thin it down again, 2:1, nice and simple, and all we're going to do is just basically in the crevices of the cloak, we're just going to pop that paint into there ever so nicely. Alright, so just let that sit just in the creases, and in those shadowy areas just add a little bit more of that green, and you can as well, if you want to, in some of the pauldrons, just kind of go over with that Dark Angels green in some of the corners, and like I say, really want to fill in the recess areas with that. Okay, nice and easy. Again, keep it thin, keep it nice and light, and just slowly build up those areas. Nothing wild. Okay, next up we're going to get our Skeleton Horde. Again, it's a nice thin paint. Skeleton Horde, as usual, we're just going to go from pot to palette, and all the areas that we're going to do gold, or our sort of like non-metal metallic gold, that is where we're going to apply our Skeleton Horde. So we're talking crest, sword edges, the big Ultramar sign on his belt, the custom filigree on his weapon system, the back elements of the backpack, the top of his plating on his chest, just everywhere that you want it to be gold. That is the areas that we're going to have it like. It's basically, I'm kind of keeping it as the old classic design of the old style Ultramarines. Iron done yellow as always. This is then going to go onto that as well. So like I say, just pop that into that skeleton horde mix, and then we're going to make sure that we do obviously thin this down with our Lamium medium. Again, you know, 2 to 1 is what we're kind of like hoping to achieve with this. And again, all those areas that we've just applied the skeleton horde to, we're now going to apply straight over the top with our iron done yellow. Okay, like I say, you know, it's kind of a bit of an old school look of the yellow and blue of the Ultramarines. I love it. The gold's cool, but I just like that yellow, and we'll kind of make it into a bit of a non-metal metallic look here for you guys. So yes, with that, all those areas that you've gone with the skeleton horde, you're now going to apply the iron done yellow straight over the top of that with that thin down mix with a Lamium medium. Right, there it is, applied and looking really nice. Next, we're going to get our Gore Grunter Fur, not to be confused with Cygor Brown Dam, which I do all the time. And same again, we're just going to thin this down. So Gore Grunter Fur onto our palette. Make sure that we get our Lamium medium. In fact, with this one, we're just going to put this straight onto the belt and the holster that he carries. There's not that much in it, but it's just, again, it's just a nice little touch that we want to make sure that we do there. Alright, so his little bit of belt that he's got there and his holster on the right hand side, we're going to put that on there. And then we're going to add some Lamium medium, thin it down ever so nice. This is where we're going to kind of get into those small areas of the model to create that gold effect, or that non-metallic metal. So where we've gone with our yellows, you know, we're now just going to do small little pieces in the sort of like crevices in the corners, and just kind of break up the lighting within the model. Okay, so just small amounts, really thin down little dots just in the crevices, where the light doesn't shine so well is where you're going to be going with this. You know, again, in the weaponry, in all the filigree, just kind of like add that in there, and it will just kind of create that contrast between the lighter edges and the darker edges of the non-metal metallics that we're trying to create here. Right, and there we go, that's it, just kind of the initial phases of it all done. Here it is, Cygor Brown, and again, all we're going to do with the Cygor Brown, this is going to go onto, again, we're just going to put this into the belt area and into the kind of recesses of the holster. But again, please make sure you thin this down. It's a very heavy colour, it's Cygor Brown, so 2 to 1 with our Lamium medium. Simple enough. Okay guys, so like I say, thin this down with our Lamium medium, and then all we're going to do, like I say, is in the belt, also on the front of those, like the front dressage, I don't know what we're going to call it, I'm sure you can tell me in the comment section, but yeah, basically we're going to allow just put a couple of thin layers on top of that to kind of give it that reddish brown hue. We're going to put it into the holster, and we're going to put it into the belt, and then once we've done that, we're then going to go into the all the kind of areas that we've done the Gore Grunter Fur in. We're now kind of just going to put that Cygor Brown into the kind of like corners and the very slightest of edges, and it will just deepen those, enrich those colours ever so slightly more as we're going through the process. Okay, so just a very light amount of Cygor Brown in those areas. Okay, and that's that all applied there. Next, okay, we're just going to put get yourself some Techlon turquoise onto your palette, and again, you know, make sure you thin this down with your Lamy and medium. Again, as always with this, a 2-to-1 kind of a mix up here. Nice and thin with this. Okay, and all this is going to do now, guys, is we're just going to place this in the metal, sort of the casing, the outer casing of his custom bolt. Yeah, it's definitely a bolt gun, isn't it? Yeah, again, nice and easy. Build this up. 2 thin coats is all you need for this. Okay, 2 thin coats is all you're going to need for this. Again, it gives that nice turquoisey hue that we want to create underneath the black Templar that we'll be applying Uno Memento. And then, of course, if you want to, again, just a little bit deeper in the power sword areas that are dark. Right, Black Templar. Again, we're going to pop this onto our palette, and this is then going to go onto over the top of that Techlon turquoise. And again, you know, 2 thin coats of this will be absolutely ideal. Or if you want to go a little bit darker, it all depends on the effect that you want to create. But I tend just to go kind of like 2 thin coats over this. It allows it to keep that turquoisey hue whilst making out that it is going to be black as well. I don't want it to be like a Black Legion where it's just straight up, like you can't see anything underneath. I do like to kind of create that effect. So like I say, keeping it nice and neat on those areas, not to get it on the yellow. All that hard work you just put in could be ruined and done. I'm also going to put a little bit on the power sword as well in a moment, and that's just going to sit in the kind of like in the darker areas to kind of break up the look of the model. So again, it's a really small amount in the sword in those darker areas to kind of break up the light and the dark. Okay, that applied. Now we're just going to grab our Zandri dust, and all we're going to do with this is going to place this on his on the sort of like tabards, his purity seals. Okay, his purity seals. Okay, his purity seals. I must add, and I do apologise, I added that you can add the Flesh Tearers red into those purity seals now as well if you would like to. Purity seals done. We're going to get our Guilliman Cygor Gorgon to fur. I'll get there. I will get there. Gorgon to fur, and all this is going to do is this is going to sit ever so nicely into those purity seals. Again, 2-to-1 mix of Lamy and medium is what you're going to what you want here, and then just very gently, just like a nice glaze, and that will just sit nicely into the model. Into those purity seals. Right, magic part time. You know what we're going to. You know what I'm going to say because I say it on every single video. Make sure we get our dry brush. Make sure we put paint on the dry brush, plenty of it, and take it all off. Completely take it all off. Loads and loads and loads off. And as always, I say with this, feather dusting. And I mean super, super, super light. Otherwise, you're gonna instead of having a nice kind of like smoother effect where you're taking away the blotchiness of the Slapchop, you're now going to be. You want this. You'll end up being left with like a real gritty look. Okay, if you go on this too heavy and too hard too soon. So make sure you take all the paint off the brush and you feather dust. Feather dust it. Super light, and just slowly build that up, as you can see. Now just with, we're going to grab our Ushabti bone, and all we're going to do with this is same again, same principle and concept. This time it's going to go on the gold areas, or the areas that we're trying to create a non-metal metallics look, and just again super light, super thin, just a peppering, if you will, of Ushabti bone over those areas. Okay, with that applied, we're going to add actual metallics now. Iron Warriors, and all this is going to do, this is going to go, it all depends on what you want for your base. For me, I'm going to add this as a base on the bottom. It's going to go on the elements of the power sword, and it's going to go on the actual weapons casing on his bolt rifle. Alright, so on the power sword, on the casing of the weapon system itself. And again, with this, probably 2 thin coats is all you're going to need for these metallics on this. And then I'm also going to add this onto the base itself. I wasn't really interested in doing it in brass like I had on the box art. I actually preferred a bit more of a silver, like flight deck look to the base. Okay, with that all done, we're going to grab our Nuln Oil, and again our Liquid Talent 1, and we are going to basically just take this and all those areas that we've done with the Iron Warriors, we're now going to apply just plenty of Nuln Oil over the top of that. You can't really go wrong with Nuln Oil. Again, just move it around so it doesn't pool, and that will sit nicely in the model. Just giving, it's called Liquid Talent for a reason, and if you're new to all this, you'll be using Nuln Oil quite a lot in your painting careers. Yes, Nuln Oil all over the metallics. While that's drying, okay, so yeah, while that's drying, we're now going to get our white scar, and all we're going to do is just touch up those areas that are already in white. So the Ultramarine crest on the left hand side, on that pauldron, the rosette that's kind of acting as the cape mount, just basically little touch ups with your white scar just to kind of help it out. With that done, all we're going to do now is going to get our Kislev flesh Kislev flesh? No, Cadian flesh tone. Sorry, Cadian flesh tone. And again, we're going to paint his face now. Cadian flesh tone, two thin coats of Cadian flesh tone on his face. Okay, guys. So again, like I say, we just build this up, nice and light, nice and easy. Two thin coats is all we need, because there's only this one small area to do. Okay, two thin coats, Cadian flesh tone on the face. While that's drying, okay, we're going to get our Talazar blue, and all we're going to do is just, again, super easy enough. There's two little like bulbs on the power sword. We're just going to basically take our Talazar blue and put a couple of thin layers on that to give it like a bit of a power on effect. Next, grab your Guilliman flesh, and all we're going to do is just place up all over the face. Again, pot palette, straight on, pot palette onto the model. No danger, troops, no danger. Nice and easy, just straight over. Make sure it's getting in all the recesses on the model itself. Right. Whilst that's drying, our Nuln oil should all be now dried. So all we're going to do is just get a thin dry brush, grab our Storm Host Silver. So grab our Storm Host Silver, and all we're going to do is all the areas that we've applied our silver to, we're just going to very lightly dry brush over that. Okay, make sure you take all the paint off, because you don't want to go over the rest of the model and ruining all of your hard work. So a very light dusting over the areas that you've applied your metallics to. Okay, so on the gun casing, on the power sword areas, and then of course on the deck, which is what I'll do because that's what the colour I've chosen. If you have done brass, Stormhost Silver will work actually really quite nicely on the model. Right then, next up we're going to get our null oil, and this is just really like a nice little touch-up effect. So where you've got like bolts like in the flight deck, all we're going to do is just basically add just a drop of null oil over those kind of bolts. Okay, Agrex Earthshade, now that the Gilliman flesh has dried on the face, remember we're going to create that hooded effect on the face. Again, I'm not too fussed about doing eyes. I'm wanting this for the tabletop. We're just, you know, we want it looking nice for the tabletop. So the hooded eye effect always looks great. Agrex Earthshade in the eyes, across the bridge of the nose, and if you want a little bit in the mouth, and it just sets it up really, really nicely. Right, with that applied, now we're getting our Kislev flesh, he says. Now we're getting our Kislev flesh, and all we're going to do again is just nice and light, take plenty of paint off, okay, and all we're going to do is just on the tops of the cheeks, on the tops of the eye, around the eyebrows, forehead, and all we're doing is just kind of, again, a little bit of an edge highlight around those areas. Sorry it's not zoomed in very, very well, so I try and keep it as simple as possible. So just over the eyebrows, around the cheeks, tops of the ear, and just on top of his nose. And there he is, guys, all done. Easy as that. I say easy as that. But yes, that's Uriel Ventris, all done. I hope you guys have found this video useful. If you have, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have found this video useful. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.